The Dudley Boys, Devon and Bubba Ray. Obviously, you've got to rate them separately.
I'd rate Devon a B, and I'd rate Bubba a C. Because Bubba can be very, very heavy-handed with a lot of things. But once again, I had a match with Bubba on Raw where we both brought it. And it was one of my favorite matches to be a part of and sometimes watch back. Devon, for some reason, Devon was just seemed to be lighter, not any less intense, but just what Devon's offense was tended to be lighter than Bubba's. Matter of fact, I remember Taker talking, saying, "Man, we had the Dudleys tonight. It was we were gonna to pack our lunch or whatever term he used that we were gonna have to work that night." And it usually, if there was a tag team thing or people paired off, people would always try to pair off with Devon and not Bubba.
The next one's the Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt.
I got to rank them separately. I'd put Matt as a B. Here we go. It's right in line with the Dudleys. Matt's a B because sometimes that leg drop off the second rope or the side effect will crunch you a little bit. But Jeff had broke my nose multiple times. And, in the whisper and the wind, Jeff just throws himself in the air and lands where he lands. So to me, I put him in the C category because, you might put you down wrong. He'll smack you in the eye and break your nose. He'll throw a strike. If he's in the air, he's always landing differently. Swanton and the whisper and the wind are the two that you just don't know if he's going to land on your groin, if he's going to land on your face, what's going to happen.
I don't want to, because I've actually got so many names here that I don't want to, name them all because this is, we've got part 2 to 10 here, quite frankly. So I'll ask a few more. S.A. Rios, who, if people don't remember, he was also Papi Chulo, and Stevie worked with almost incessantly on
Metal and Jacked.
Metal, yeah, at one point, 2000 or so.
You know what? I'd give him an A. He's never touched me with anything. He's hit me with the moonsault that kind of was like the money shot where it knocks a little bit of the wind out of you. Never caught me with an errant shot or anything. I'd put him in an A. More A's than I figured. Yeah.
China.
China, I put it as C. Very heavy-handed, very, Jericho had said she was hard to work with. There's, especially during that time when she was with Hunter, it's very much a political thing that she can do whatever she wants, but you got to be careful with her. And even when I was choking her in the corner with the right to censor, when I was saying, looking in my eyes, I didn't have my hands around her throat. I was pushing into her collarbone more so. I treated her, and I wanted to anyway, because she was a female and she was over, and I wanted to protect her because there was money behind her and money in her. I did not want to hurt her. I didn't want to hurt anybody, but you just want to make sure you don't bring any more heat on yourself. But some of her stuff, clothesline-wise, kicks and the flippers, she'd catch you with a lot of that stuff. She was very green. People don't realize that she was, during the wrestling phase, especially when she was a babyface and the Eddie Guerreros, she was still very green as a worker, and she didn't work. She just laid stuff in. And, you were in that trap that she was a woman. So you're going to complain about a woman stiffing you? No. But if you stiff her, it's a very weird thin line. And I miss her. Rest in peace, because it's just a side note.
Yeah.
I wish, and I said this during, I think, our interview about China or one of the episodes, I really wish I got a chance to know her as Joni, because Vince Russo had always talked about how she was a great person and she was really nice to be around. And I had seen her at a couple conventions. We said hello to each other. She seemed very happy, but we never kind of got perspective on why things were so awkward during that time. But she was going through so much personal stuff. I didn't know about that. And it translated into our work against each other.
Big Daddy V, Viscera Mabel, any name you want to give him.
This is very interesting because he had the reputation as Mabel for hurting people. That's when Undertaker had to wear that mask.
Yeah, but it was more than him. There was Kevin Nash. There was the Samoans. He seemed to...
Yep.
Henry Godwin said he got hurt by Viscera. Everyone was complaining, and then eventually by the end of 95, he was released. He comes back for the Royal Rumble 96 for one night only. maybe, or very short term. Then he's gone for years. He's on Memphis, and then when he comes back in '99, I'm taking your story over. I'm sorry. All of a sudden, his reputation completely changed. That he was actually really safe to work with.
He was one of the lightest guys to be in the ring with. He would give the Samoan drop, the leg drop, the belly to belly. He had a complete turnaround with his reputation in the locker room, like you said. There was people, whenever I saw him, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun." Like, cause you gotta worry about the ring bell biting you in the back of the head because he's so heavy, but no, man, and I remember the first time, I remembered the reputation, and I was scared, and I think he had said to me, he goes, he goes "Trust me, I'm gonna take care of you out there. It's, he said something to the effect of, it's all different now, and now I'm gonna take care of you. Don't worry, I will not hurt you." And on a personal level, he was always a really cool guy, really laid back, came off very nice, just especially with with the reputation and the history and getting released and then coming back for another opportunity. I could sense that he appreciated that and he didn't want to waste the opportunity. And then beat Big Daddy V in ECW. My God, dude, that was some good stuff. ECW, he was put on a show that didn't do his character justice to be this big guy in just like a singlet. Just, you know what I mean? He stood out. He was definitely a monster.
Rating.
Who's that?
Rating. You didn't rate him. You didn't give him a letter, a grade.
Oh, believe it or not, I would give him an A.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we're still not to the person you
Really?
said.
Damn,
We're
I really
not.
want to know who it is now. I've got to keep going through. The Sandman.
Oh, the Sandman? Oh my God. I would just say a C because he never really hurt me outside of the cane shots, like actual moves and him doing things. He's a C because it's always putting me down wrong, smacking me in the eye, throwing hard strikes, land on you. You'd feel on it. You felt like yeah, he's everything. Like there should be a picture of Sandman on here next to C because it's everything.
Next one is Rocky Romero.
Yeah, I worked him in Lucha Libre USA. See, I remember that. And I actually almost hurt Rocky with some move in the corner. Like there was something with a power bomb or something that I dropped him wrong, and I felt really, really bad about it. But Rocky is a B because he does that New Japan Strong style. There are things are going to be live rounds here and there, but it was nothing that hurt me. So he's a B.
Sabu.
Yeah, this is tough. He's never hurt me, but there's been not a maybe stiff. Sabu is famous for this. He'd always throw 3 punches. You already know where I'm going. It'd be 1, 2, sorry. Yeah, every time. 1, 2, sorry. And before he even hits you, the sorry would come out. So I would put him at a B. So, because his flying stuff too, man. See, there's certain types, we should break it down one day on a future episode. High flyers like the heavy versus the light ones. Because Sabu, when he flew and you had to catch him, he was like a missile. Sabu's very like dense. That's what I would say. Very dense, like muscular. But when you have to catch him, it's like a heavy, like muscle. It's just a piece of muscle flying on you and you got to catch it. So it's hard to describe. Doesn't hurt you, but you better brace or have the blue meanie next to you because he's coming, whether you like it or not.
So C, were you saying?
No, B.
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 Right, okay, so we've got like...
Because he never put me down wrong or smacked you. He never give you like an errand. The 1, 2, sorry was just like a little kind of stiff punch, but nothing that hurt you.
Right, so I want to know what the A one was because we've got like more than 10 names left, and to be honest, we've been doing this for half an hour, so this is going to be or maybe 25 minutes. This is going to be a part 2 in a future one. So, or shall we just go through the other ones a bit quicker? It's up to you.
No, I have a list of other names I've worked. You want now? Here's the payoff right here.
Okay, so
can you guess who A is?
Do you know?
I would say the absolute A of all A's. The absolute, like, never touched you at all. Some of the people on this list, pretty light, but sometimes clotheslines there, other things. but from bell to bell, from lockup, everything, you do not feel anything. You have to check to make sure he hits you, and sometimes you wouldn't even bump. You know what I mean? Because it's so light.
I'm gonna say all the names because I just want to be surprised. Next one, Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn. I would say Billy Gunn would be a B. Just heavy-handed with some stuff, but never hurt you.
Robert Roode. Now, is he the A?
No, he's not.
Oh,
Rude is also a B, obvious reasons, great worker, but has to lay some stuff in.
okay. I've got one more that I'll save for when we get to it. Then, Matt Morgan.
Matt Morgan, I would say probably a B.
Hmm.
Now do you
And
wanna know the name?
no, 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 no. You can elaborate. I mean, you don't have to rush for my benefit, but no, you can always elaborate. You see, I was looking at Rhino, but man, that gore looks like it really hurt, so I don't think he'd be the A.
Uh, I would just say B because everybody even me, I would hopefully probably be a B because there's always the occasional punch, kick, body slam or something that just catches somebody wrong, but they don't get hurt. It's just not quite as smooth.
The Great Carly. Did you have singles matches with the Carly? The
I
Great
did in
Carly.
Chicago. Remember I told you when he gave me the Barney Rubble with the chop?
Hmm.
That was real. So I would say, um, it's hard because that double choke slam, he put me down wrong because you're coming up from so high that instead of taking a bump, I kinda came down a little on my feet, hit my tailbone, hit my back, and then hit my head on the way down. But I would call him a B because he doesn't do too many things. It just didn't hurt me, it just was sloppy.
Trish Stratus, because you actually mentioned before that you, for a cameo, in fact, by the way, Stevie Richards
Mhm.
is on Cameo. If you want to ask him a question, he puts in every single effort, not to just to say hello or well done or whatever. You can submit questions and he will answer them in depth, far more than most people will on Cameo. But you mentioned that you worked, obviously, you did some physicality with Trish Stratus, but also in mixed tags. In fact, quite a few matches with Trish.
Yeah, yeah, I would say she's probably a B because I want her to lay in the forearms, the kicks, the other things, the stratisfaction you take yourself and just kinda turn around. I would just put there was no errant punch, that's why I kinda wanna put her in an A. But sometimes you don't want any space and she's so short, you want her to snatch your hair and just start, you know what I mean? You want to get lit up because it has to look good. So I would put her in a B. But not for anything she would do, but for what I tell her to like lay this in because we want to make it look real.
This is the one I think is going to be an A, Shelton Benjamin.
Now I'd put Sheldon still with a B. Everybody's gonna have an errant shot. The name I have is not on this list.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was guessing off people off this list.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
why I was just
just winding me up the entire way through. Okay, then. Yeah, we've got
we have
three more
three.
names on the list.
Yeah.
Randy Savage. We've already told the story about when you wrestled Randy, but Randy Savage.
You know what? The one match I had with him, I would put him in an A. He didn't catch me with anything. Yeah, all I had to do was bump and sell. It's not like I had to be in any kind of special position. So that's kind of an asterisk next to an A because he never hurt me.
The Gangsters. So that's New Jack and Mustafa. So rank them separately, I guess.
No, I'd put them together as a C because they just came out and did their thing. I mean, you can't put a B, you know, you didn't get caught with an occasional shot. You got caught with many shots. You know what I mean? Consistent shots. Now they never hurt me, but guarantee you with the trash can, the guitar, putting chairs on top of me and Meanie, and then doing the drive by with another chair, you're gonna feel it just by osmosis of weapons. You're going to you're going to be put in a C. And Mustafa was like Sabu, just a big piece of muscle, and he would hit you with stuff. And New Jack was a lot more his gear was different than Mustafa. So if you're selling for New Jack and you go to Mustafa, expect the same timing of a punch, it's a different speed and pace. So that offset shot would be like, all right, I'm expecting a shot. Oh, geez, I got hit with the shot by New Jack. I thought it was as slow as, all right, Mustafa hit me. All right, it's coming, it's coming. So I have to, all right, I got to lean. Oh, geez, he hit me with it. That's kind of the way it differed with that. So the last name, rest in peace, Larry Sweeney. I worked on an independent. I would put him at a B. We caught each other with the occasional stiff shot, and that happens. But he one match. He never hurt me, but I feel bad because that was a good dude, man. He should still be with us, and it sucks that he's gone.
Yeah, I wanted to bring him up as a name because I didn't realise you'd wrestled him. So I
Yeah.
just thought it'd be a nice sort of a name, sort of a keep his memory alive, I guess, by
What was
bringing
the
him up.
elbow drop? Was the elbow drop 13 large or something?
Oh,
12 large?
I can't remember. It's me and my memory, man. I tell you. In fairness, though, you didn't remember that you'd wrestled Chris Candido
You were right about, and Carlito.
and
You're
Carlito
right.
as well.
You're right
There you
about,
go. Right.
yeah.
So, what is the name that you've got for an A that you want to mention?
This is the lightest worker I've ever been in the ring with, and the most underrated, underappreciated worker that has ever lived. Brad Armstrong.
Hmm.
That's it. I wrestled him in Racine, Wisconsin, I believe, and it was actually, I think it was on an ECW house show of all things. I think it might not have been Racine. It was one of those towns, and I locked up with him, and I didn't even think we locked up. I thought he missed me, but he was right there, and I said, "Dude, you are so light," and he goes, "You haven't seen anything yet." The arm twist, the wrist thing, everything. And what he did was it's kind of like watching roller sport, but it's so like fluid and he moved, drop kick, the Russian leg sweep, float over and everything. I felt nothing. Matter of fact, I was literally almost like visibly upset. Do you know why? After the
Cool.
match?
Cool.
Because it was over, because it ended. I was visibly upset because I wanted the match to be longer. It was such outside of any other way of putting it was a purely joyful experience as a worker to be in the ring and feel or not feel more specifically what it's like to work that kind of worker. Like back in the day, Brad was telling me he was a dime a dozen back then as far as people like that. I'm sure Bobby Eaton, Stan Lane, other people within the NWA and other places were that light. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Road Dogg is right up there with Brad, I would assume. He might get you with a little something here and there, but man, I mean, Brad Armstrong, I've never wrestled anybody like him. And even after that match, there was nobody that came close to being as light and there at the same time as Brad Armstrong, that thin line that he never crossed. It was crazy.
He can be in the S tier then, just because we haven't got an S tier, but we'll put him in.
Brad Armstrong is, yeah, that's the S tier.